Today, the ruins of Ephesus stand in western Turkey, surrounded by dry land, fields, and distant hills. But 2,000 years ago, ships sailed almost to the heart of this city. The strange part is not that Ephesus was abandoned. Ancient cities disappeared all the time. The strange part is that the sea itself disappeared with it. Ephesus stood on the western edge of Anatolia, in the region the Greeks called Ionia. Today, this is the Turkish province of Izmir. Its location placed it between the wealthy interior of Asia Minor and the trade routes of the Aegean Sea. Geography made Ephesus valuable. Goods arriving by sea could move inland. Grain, wine, olive oil, timber, ceramics, textiles, and enslaved people passed through its markets. Every ship brought money. Every road brought another customer. But Ephesus was more than a port. It was the home of Artemis of Ephesus, a local form of the ancient goddess whose sanctuary attracted pilgrims from across the Mediterranean world. Her temple became one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The temple did not survive untouched. It was burned, rebuilt, damaged, and rebuilt again. That pattern would define Ephesus for centuries. Disaster arrived. The city suffered, and then the city returned, even larger than before. By the 1st century before Christ, Ephesus had become part of the Roman world. Under Roman rule, it developed into one of the most important cities of the Eastern Empire and the capital of the province of Asia. Its streets became a display of imperial power and private wealth. At its height, Ephesus was a true metropolis. Visitors walked along marble-paved streets beneath columns and statues. Water flowed through aqueducts and fountains. Bathhouses, markets, temples, workshops, homes, and public buildings filled the city. The Great Theater rose against the slope of Mount Pion. After Roman expansion, it could hold tens of thousands of spectators. People came for drama, public ceremonies, political gatherings, and the violent entertainments of the Roman age. Near the commercial center stood the Library of Celsus. Its famous facade was built as both a library and a monument to a Roman governor. To a visitor entering from the lower city, it announced that Ephesus possessed not only money, but status, education, and memory. Imagine arriving here after weeks at sea. You would smell salt, oil, smoke, animals, perfume, and food. You would hear sailors bargaining, priests calling worshippers, actors rehearsing, craftsmen hammering, and thousands of conversations mixing in the streets. And then, inside this deeply pagan city, a new faith began to spread. Christian communities existed in Ephesus during the Roman period, and the city became closely connected with the story of early Christianity. The change began quietly, in homes, workshops, and private gatherings. According to the Acts of the Apostles, Paul preached in Ephesus. His message threatened people whose livelihoods were connected to the cult of Artemis. The result was not a calm theological debate. A crowd gathered in the Great Theater, shouting in defense of their goddess and their city. But Ephesus did not become Christian in a single day. For generations, old gods and the new religion existed in the same city. Families changed belief at different times. Traditions survived. Buildings were reused. Public identity shifted slowly. Then, under Christian emperors, the law began to shift with it. During the late 4th century, imperial policy increasingly restricted traditional pagan sacrifice and worship. Temples across the empire lost state support, closed, or were repurposed. In Ephesus, the religious world that had defined the city for centuries was no longer protected by the power of Rome. The Temple of Artemis had already suffered destruction and decline. By late antiquity, its stones were being reused, its sanctuary abandoned, and its old importance fading.
A wonder of the ancient world did not vanish in one cinematic explosion. It was dismantled by damage, neglect, changing belief, and time. Christian Ephesus did not immediately become an empty city. It remained important. Churches and basilicas rose. Bishops gathered here. In the year 431, the Council of Ephesus became one of the defining events of early Christian history. When the Western Roman Empire collapsed in the 5th century, Ephesus did not suddenly stop being Roman. It belonged to the Eastern Empire, the state we now call Byzantine. For a time, life continued. Officials governed, merchants traded, Christians worshipped, builders repaired what earthquakes and age had damaged. But the city was becoming more vulnerable. vulnerable. Gothic raiders struck the region in the 3rd century. Later centuries brought further attacks, insecurity, earthquakes, disease, and the enormous cost of maintaining an aging metropolis. Each disaster could be survived, but every recovery became harder. Yet the greatest enemy of Ephesus carried no sword. The Caister River flowed through the valley toward the sea. With it came sediment, soil, and silt washed down from the interior. Year after year, that material settled in the harbor. The Romans fought back. Channels were cleared. Harbors were modified. New facilities were created closer to navigable water, but the river never stopped. The harbor grew shallower. Water stagnated. Wetlands expanded. Large ships found it harder to reach the city. A port city can survive an attack. It can rebuild after an earthquake. But when ships can no longer reach its docks, the reason for the city's existence begins to disappear. Trade moved elsewhere. Warehouses emptied. Jobs vanished. Families left. Ephesus did not simply turn off. It contracted. People moved toward more defensible ground. Monumental buildings were divided, reused, or abandoned. Marble was burned for lime or carried away for new construction. The city became smaller than the ruins of its own past. Over centuries, the coastline advanced farther from ancient Ephesus. What had once been a harbor became land. Today, visitors can stand on the old harbor road and look across fields toward a sea that no longer touches the city. And yet Ephesus is not truly gone. Its theater still faces the old harbor road. The facade of the Library of Celsus stands again after modern restoration. Its streets, homes, baths, churches, temples, inscriptions, and graves preserve the lives of people who believed their city would last forever. Ephesus was not destroyed by one enemy, one religion, or one disaster. It was transformed by conquest, faith, economics, earthquakes, war, and the slow movement of earth and water. The city survived almost everything until the world that had created it moved somewhere else. Once, the sea brought the entire Mediterranean world to the gates of Ephesus. Today, only the road remains. The ships are gone, the crowds are gone, but the city is still telling its story.